out of the next phase, so we'll see a CM response as well, maybe BS. Planning to lane against the Enchantress, perhaps, could be a way to kind of offset the heal advantage that she has. Because her harass is not incredible, her base damage is good, but it's not one of those overwhelming laning presence. It's more like she stays alive, and that's exactly what Bloodseeker also does. So I feel like that could be a lane where he could stabilize quite easily against her. At least until she hits 6, I guess.
Yeah, at level 6, it's like who wants to and can lane against an Ench, and the answer is normally pretty few. But we'll see what happens when we get to that point. Crystal Maiden likely to be a 4 position, played in the offlane as like a spammer to go with the Ench. And Newbee pick up PL. I like it. I don't feel like we're seeing enough PLs. I think this is still one of the best carries out there, and just being forgotten a little bit almost.
It has some laning difficulties, though. The way I thought about yesterday is like his offensive power is not as good as a lot of other cores, so maybe it gives you some matchup potential where you just kind of lose. And they also, they banned Alk, Ursa, so maybe that was kind of under their line of thinking as well, that those lane matchups wouldn't be the best. But I also like it with the CM2. More mana to spam, so more Spirit Lances and things like that. And he matches up well against Bloodseeker. He matches up pretty well against Weaver too. You won't be able to kill the bugs from Doppelganger, but offensively, once you get Diffusal Blade, both of those heroes are going to have a little trouble there. Yeah,
it's one of those things where even though you can kind of find the real PL, when he Doppelgangers, it's not like a matchup win for the Weaver, just because Weaver doesn't deal well with illusions, and even the Maelstrom build never feels like, seems like a band-aid rather than like a full solution to the actual PL problem.
Yeah, that's true. The Venge pick at that stage seems also pretty solid. Other teams picking it earlier phase, but not enough picks in the early phase to throw it in for VP, so I think it fits here well. More minus armor to combo with Weaver. Both Weaver and Bloodseeker have pretty strong right clicks, so amping that with the aura is good. And it's also a lot of threat if they die even, like the aura running those dead heroes into right click a Crystal Maiden or a Lion or an Enchantress. That sounds pretty valuable.
Likely Solo's hero. Avenge as a Zeus gets banned out, so perhaps thinking about what some of those illusion clear heroes could be.
It's a counter against PL in lane, if I'm not mistaken. I think I heard somebody talking about that.
Okay.
That you lane it as like a 4, and then you just spam Bolt and Arc Lightning on him in the lane.
Well, I imagine they are looking for a core hero with their last pick, however.
Okay.
Unless they're running Venge as a core, but we haven't been seeing that, at least not so far.
It is a good Zeus game, though. Looking at Newbee's heroes, like Enchantress, Burstable, all the Lion CM, if they're out of range, they're just dead.
Yep.
Definitely would have been great. Good illusion clear.
So what does Newbee want? They're looking for some kind of stable mid. They do have to worry about the counter pick to whatever they're getting. Maybe they're planning like some kind of Tinker if you're going to be banning a Zeus. Or it may just be that they don't want to verse a Zeus because of how good it is against their other 4 heroes. But Ember comes out.
Okay. Lockdown.
Yeah. I worry though, because like Ember's a hero that always has several counters in the mid lane, and I feel like VP can very easily find a good lane matchup for no one, who is one of the scarier mid players to go up against.
I would agree with that. Yeah, the matchups are a little scary, but against the heroes that are currently on the board, he's super good. I would argue against Weaver, you're preventing Sakuchi invisibility. Basically, I think you might still be able to time lapse through it, but you can lock down Bloodseeker if you get ruptured. It's not as scary because you can flame Remnant away. You can dodge the silence with a Sight of Fist or a Remnant. Against Venge, dodge the stun in multiple ways. There's a lot of really good things that Ember does this game. I definitely like him as a pick here.
Yeah. And it's like the same reason Ember's good is why Storm would have been good, which was what VP banned, is what you're saying, how there's just that limited lockdown, and the kind of silences there are from Bloodseeker are very easy to dodge for these mobile Spirit heroes.
So VP needs a hero that's going to lane well against Ember Spirit if they don't want to put Bloodseeker or Weaver there. And they also need a hero that possibly will help them deal with the PL, because they don't have that solution yet with those first 2 Weaver Bloodseeker picks in their first 3. So that's the big question, and I'm actually really interested to see how VP tries to find a solution, because we've seen other teams, I believe Newbee, building like triple Maelstrom Mjolnir against PL, and it just didn't feel good at all. They need a solution, and I'm sure they've got one in mind, and I'm hoping we get to see it.
Yeah, I feel like they're going to bust out something really bizarre and unexpected here.
Or build like a Battle Fury mid-game Bloodseeker is my other guess. Battle Fury is really bad against like Lion CM Ember.
Yeah, I think he's more likely going to go the Radiant mid-shaker. Here we go.
Is it?
That's what I'm talking. Absolutely. Gotta believe it, compared. He's doing it. This is the Sumail special. I mean, this isn't Sumail, but this I remember Sumail used to do bust out a shaker when he's against like a melee mid hero, and Ember does not really want to get too close. When Shaker gets a few level, those totem whacks are going to hurt.
I'm really excited for this game now. No one's a fantastic player. VP is a solid team. I want to see him do some crazy stuff like a Blink Ags or maybe Blink Shadowblade Ags or something.
This is a fun little pick here. I think VP... It's also seriously a good pick because it gives them some much needed lockdown. It gives them a PL counter. It gives them a lane winner. Everything you listed you wanted out of your mid hero, I feel like Shaker gives them. The one thing Shaker maybe lacks is this ability to kind of scale to the late game a bit, as a carry at least, but I don't think he's even that terrible there.
Is there like a matchup swap where Newbee could put like PL mid instead of or Ember Spirit?
I mean, do you want PL mid against Shaker anyways?
Because you have like 8 or 9 armor or something crazy.
Yeah.
Especially if you use Phantom Rush in first. So like at least his enchant totem harass is going to feel absolutely massively like way
The issue is then what's his lane in the safe lane, because I don't feel like he has a better time there anyways, because then you're versing those annoying offensive dual lanes. A Willow plus Bloodseeker, it looks like.
Yeah, and even Weaver. Weaver would be really tough to just invis most of the time. Your mana pool won't be enough. But with that said, OG did play Ember constantly in the safe lane during qualifiers. The fact that I haven't seen it at all here makes me feel like it's not good anymore in some way.
Okay.
But maybe there's a way to... Maybe there's like something missing from the draft that's going to make it okay to do. I mean, they still stuck with the same heroes, so it's still probably SEC mid, but...
Yeah. We've seen the odd Enchantress mid, and KP did go mid on Enigma, so maybe that's the option. That is definitely a hero that would win against Shaker. Good luck getting a totem hit on him when he...
armor much more than he used to have, so maybe this matchup isn't the same as it used to be.
Well, things will unravel here. A mid Shaker from Virtus Pro's No One. Pasha going to be playing that safe lane Bloodseeker, so looks like they want to send the stronger laning heroes, the Weaver, up against the PL of Newbee, and for the time being Newbee are sending both supports to their safe lane to protect that Phantom Lancer.
Yeah, so
leaving KP on his own.
So they will have the expected Bloodseeker Enchantress matchup if he can sustain that harass, and yeah, that's definitely possible to pressure the PL. And certainly we've seen a lot of Bloodseekers get pressured by really strong dual lanes, but this one doesn't feel strong enough to maybe outlane him. But see how it goes out. So looking across the river here, maybe going for a wave of terror to the left is what I expect. Pops the tank, who knows he's going to fight.
Please just bear in mind
that was pretty well done. They were very ready for that outcome.
Yeah, they wanted to make sure they could get some of these, but VP themselves back at top, getting the bounty runes there. KP already using that level 1 heal, which is a big chunk of his mana. Cooldown not going to be too big of a deal. Pasha just going to instantly go in for some right clicks here, so Newbee even up the lanes. Kaka TP's top, so we'll see that 2-1-2 setup, and dual lanes will be coming out from both teams. Not an easy lane down bottom for the CMPL, and back in mid we have that Ember vs Shaker, the place to keep your eyes pinned as we have a No One mid Shaker here.
It's the one that's going to be interesting for sure. It's the range creep deny, a little glyph as well on the last melee. We'll see if we can get the last hit on this one. Looks like he will be able to. So still pretty even, 2-0 here, first wave.
We'll see Bloodseeker. Actually, again, we saw this early, going for the level 1 Blood Right, just using it for some harass and to secure some last hits.
Okay.
Something a bit different. And
good move though. I mean, if you get Blood Rage and you don't have a way to defend yourself, really, you're just going to take so much damage. And this way he can actually help out if his supports are trading as well. Throw out the nuke, at least then the Dark Will is not going to feel completely 2v1 bullied, so definitely helps the laning stage in a big way.
Yeah, it kind of forces KP to just Kaka to run away and take more right clicks from the Dark Willows, so very happy times here. No One back at mid, just constantly going to be using this totem. Likely see him at least getting 2 points in it early, maybe even maxing it out by level 7 because of how much damage it dishes.
Yeah, it's going to try to use it for denies primarily, but every time he casts the spell, he'll get a last hit and get the with the Aftershock, and then also get the follow-up.
See, so far is Triple C just holding his own just fine. 5-1 to the 7-3, 6-1 now, so even with the wave pushing forward. So last hit-wise, he's doing fine. The issues really come at like level 3, level 4. Once Shaker gets leveled, the lane gets more and more difficult. Roger up top taking a lot of harass. He doesn't have Shadow Realm. This is going to be a kill for KP, who's got the movement speed advantage. Roger trying to juke in the trees. He tangos through. KP gets the first blood. And Pasha could not dive the tower for the kill. Well, he could, but he's not getting a kill.
Yep, just not fast enough. I mean, he has the boot speed advantage, but that's about it. No thirst, no bonus damage. Didn't want to use Blood Rage because he had limited right click, so no kill, surprisingly.
Well, decent start for Newbee's lanes, all things considered. Both sides getting some okay farm on all their cores in different places. And you can see here, SCCC just happy to use the Flame Guard just to push out the lane, get what last hits he can, knowing that he doesn't really want to be trading hits with a Shaker. So when he's got this big wave, he just wants to put it under the tower, put no one on the back foot.
Solo catching Crystal Maiden here. She's in some trouble, but she does go for a TP. It's really close.
Ooh. And now he went in TP when he respawns. That's one of those really tough moments for a support. Kind of regret using the TP. Just wish you'd maybe let yourself die, because walking the lane is the walk of shame.
I genuinely thought he was going to make it out, but just a little bit too much right click from the Wave of Terror and the double animation. It was the right move. He was dead otherwise. But yeah, like you said, maybe saves the TP and is better off. But now very punished in this lane. So the Roger rotation is worth it.
Particularly bad because you're a CM. 277 movement speed. It's not even a walk of shame. It's a crawl.
Yeah. It's a tough moment to be in. I see pressuring up a little bit once again. No one's been able to abuse this Arcane Rune, a really good rune to have here. So you can spam enchant more. But just going a 1-1-4 build, at least for now. I'm sure you'll get another enchant totem at 5, perhaps.
He maybe just wants that longer stun duration from Aftershock. This is a build where when you get 6 with your Echo Slam, you can get more kills here. Gets a rotation from Dark Willow. Needs to...
He's got a bottle too.
Yeah, Willow's kind of blocking him a bit here, but at the same time, both of these players are pretty slow. Goes for the fissure block. Does he get it? He does. Great. Oh, yeah, he does. Wasn't sure for a second there. Great play from No One, using that Ancient's area to line up the fissure and get the full-on block. Really smart move from him.
There's a regen bot rune. Newbee's going to know about that one. We'll see.
Yeah, will they venture down there? It doesn't look like priorities are on it. Faith is, yeah, like, I'm sure Faith is being told by SCCC, dude, go get that rune or deny it, do something about it.
Yeah, No One's got a bottle as well, and he's the one that's going to want it more with the empty bottle and the empty mana pool, so yeah, Faith's going to blow it up.
He still has enough mana right now. He still has a Mango, and Roger's lurking around this mid lane, maybe looking for another kill here, but TP's coming in from Lion, as well as the CM rotation. It looks like Roger's going to scout out this game and keep No One alive.
He's going to get pretty low here, but barely catches the next Bramble. Unlikely to get the kill either way. Roger's going to stay alive just fine. So, causing a lot of support movement. And if you look at what's being lost, it's PL not getting last hits. 13-2 now versus the 24-8 on the Weaver. So definitely having a bit of a tough time. But he is still getting last hits, and he's got regen aplenty.
Weaver's going to find and run into these two supports. Looks to go for a kill here with the Beetle. Should be able to find at least one here. Goes on Faith first. Can he find the second one? Kuchi on after. Kaka still has all the hits on this Beetle, but it looks like with the tower safety, he's not going to be chased down.
A lot of damage to him, though. Gets pretty zoned in. It looks like they can go double bounty on Newbee's side. The top lane one is still there. KP didn't want to have to spend the time getting both sets, trying to get back in lane.
He's got phase boots. He's bullying this Bloodseeker, who luckily has some thirst stacks, otherwise he'd be in some trouble.
That's a really cool way to provide the solution here. Just go phase so that you just do as much damage as possible in the laning stage with Harass, so you can out-harass him through the regen.
Bottom lane, Mugi's gone in looking for Ramses, but Kuchi available. Not really much Mugi can do, and he needs to be careful. Needs a doppelganger the stun, will do so. Mugi gets away. Being a problematic situation for him if not. And in mid lane, No One, out of mana, maybe looking for a shrine of his own, which doesn't actually exist. So he needs a 6-minute rune. He's going to be going down bottom where the action's unfolding. Weaver and PL fighting it out. Ramsey's got the edge here with the stick charges. He doesn't even need them. Kaka under the tower does deal with the bug on him, but is still surrounded by the two VP supports. Solo and Roger block him in, cage him in the trees. Kaka out of escapes, even spotted by the Thirst. Going to give some intel as to where he is. Solo has a stun on the exit. Magic Missile comes out. Ramsey doesn't really want to commit to this one, not with his current health. And Roger may be left on his own. Shadow Realm TP available in 2 seconds here. Roger should be okay. Shadow Realm gets himself out of there. And he's home free.
Man, and watching all these early engagements, I can't help but think of Faith's interrupted TP before where he got killed. Yeah. He's just walking around as level 2. If he has a Frostbite, if he has a second point in Nova, all these fights are going to be so much better for them to win, but he's just so far behind. that one kill felt so game-winning.
This is also maybe one of the weaknesses of Enchantress that you can exploit. It's a hero that's just going to sit in lane. It's not brilliant TP rotator hero. Like a lot of these, your typical offlanes, like if the Pengo, you're level 6, you TP down there, you're rolling Thunder, you have a kind of mobility spell with Swashbuckle to get into position, but Edge, TP, they run away, okay, you can't, you've wasted your rotation. So you rotate to the Ench's lane, which is what Kaka will do. Double Siege Creep pushes the tower, and then Kaka comes in, finds the Bloodseeker for a nice little pickoff.
Yeah. And even though they have been dying, their tower still isn't dead yet. It's low, it's got 500 health, but what they were getting out of the top lane is certainly a good trade-off here. Yep. Kaka's going to get caught, it gets rooted as well, Wave of Terror, some right clicks perhaps, but not that much follow-up.
Didn't get the full-on fissure block here. Roger's going to go for the Shadow Realm hit.
They need a ward, so... Nope. Great save there. And he also bottles an Invis. This is a super good grab. 3 points in Enchant, 3 points in Aftershock, and he's going in for it. Uses Enchant out of safety range. The Sentry's not going to spot this if he runs straight up, so see if STC...
Oh, he's on the creep wave. Oh, there's the Echo Slam up to the totem. Easy peasy, says VP No One, and takes the kill. He got spotted picking up the Invis room, right?
Yeah. That should not have happened, actually. There's no way that he should have died there. I don't know if he just wasn't expecting the damage, if he thought, like, oh, there's no creeps and didn't see the creep wave coming, but No One got everything he wanted. He even hit before Echo. Like, he was min-maxing that one, and that was an easy pickup.
Just No One things indeed, as VP in a decent spot here. KP having a fantastic game on the Enchantress, but very much the core of the reason why you pick this hero, to be a lane dominator, to have a good early game, is going for a drums build, so should expect some early involvement, and perhaps with this movement speed burst, he will be playing more around his team, looking to rotate a bit more efficiently. Holding on to his siege creep for now, but so far just sticking it out in the top lane.
If he finds people out of position, he's going to deal a huge amount of damage, and they have good disable on their side, but they're preoccupied trying to make sure that Phantom Lancer's lane is going okay, and then ideally they can maybe harass Ramses too, but so far I haven't seen that very much. Great stun here, though. This could be the follow-up they need. He's going to get low. Will they get him? They do.
Yeah, it's a big kill, taking down the Weaver. Your Bloodseeker is already not having a good time, and now Weaver takes a spill as well. They do get the return kill on the Lion, but losing the Venge in the process here. Pasha has rotated in Mugi. Not going to be chasing down for this one. I see a Rupture coming out. It's Fate's Crystal Maiden TPing out. No stuns available, and yeah, it's a good TP.
I'd be a little scared if I was him after the last time that worked out, but Mugi... The PL did so much damage in that fight, and they did have 2 sentries down to cover this a bit, and they did a good job with the supports to sit back and wait for that opportunity, but Weaver finally getting punished here.
Yep. Goes Crown to try to secure a banner, and Roger wins the right-click battle, but will he win the battle for his life? He's going to stay alive here, has the Bramble Maze as well. PL needs to get to this shrine, he gets rooted up, will be A-okay. Roger still has a Shadow Realm should he need it for an escape.
That was a bit of a mistake by Kaka there. He was a little focused on the bugs on Mugi. Maybe should have gone for a stun. And because there was a lot of rotations. That was Ember Spirit coming over the KP also came for a teleport, so they get a disable, they'd have follow-up, probably get a kill. A little mistake, but sometimes in those moments hard to notice everything around you going on.
We're pretty even on gold right now, even though the kills do favor VP. Mid lane, going in on Shaker, 3-man fissure. Bramble Mace followed up. Shaker, though, going to get deleted by KP with the Impetus. Says Triple C in some trouble here, so the silence did land, and he just couldn't find a way out of there. KP still throwing these big, chunky nukes, as it will just be a mid lane for mid lane exchange.
Pretty even across the board. Slightly better for the Radiant side. They got more experience, but also cost him, you know, a little bit of Remnant. I guess they're mostly full. It'll be okay here.
Yeah,
nice. Queuing up BOTs next, too. So it's maybe the more old style of BOTs.
Okay. Yeah, we've seen, I feel like, more of a trend towards going back to the treads and getting a bit tankier. PL. Ooh.
Great Hex. This should be a kill, I think, if they get the follow-up.
Impale to follow it up, and there's a Remnant. He's an S-Triple-C, making sure they get the kill. Kaka, right place at the right time. This guy plays a sick Lion. Not many teams who put their 4-position player on the Lion, but Newbee, one of those who does it every now and then, and Kaka great at making plays on the hero. It's
so much easier to have a mana pool without needing mana drain when you play Lion now, just because of the more mana that you get from Int as your primary attribute. So he's able to get all these disables, he's moving around quick with Tranquils, and perfect place to prep and get there.
And on top of that has the CM aura, which has really enabled everyone on this team to just constantly be ready to fight. The last kind of 2 or 3 minutes, despite being down in kills, Newbee have managed to kind of go toe-to-toe with VP in these constant clashes.
An interesting item build on KP is going to be going for a Glimmer Cape.
Just saw that one, and theoretically this early invis is going to force out a lot of sentries and dust and whatnot.
So VP off, pushing the off lane at least, so Ramses will get a tower. He is queuing up a Javelin, probably will be going the Maelstrom build. So likely to see the similar things as we saw in some of the other games versus the PL, just Maelstroms for now.
Yep.
Although Pasha's not having the best game, I would say. He's queuing up a Blade Mill. His net worth is still pretty good, but he's not like he doesn't feel like in a super commanding position, and the matchups aren't that great, I would say. So I feel like it's going to be a while till he gets some kind of a PL solution as well. So maybe Mugi might get out of control.
Yeah. And it's also not just the PL. I feel like they need an ENG solution in some ways. We've seen ENG just dominate these games. Faith at mid, quick easy pickoff. No one's Blink Dagger coming out. He's level 11 with the DD rune, so still could pose a big threat. Didn't use any big spells for that one.
Yeah, he's just trying to accelerate, I guess, the Blink. Assured if somebody else gets chain disabled, buy them some time.
Yeah, it's not just a savior, so he may just have to leave solo to die here. SCCC, can he get the root off on Pasha? Can't get it on the Shadow Realm hero, but could chase for more, and I believe he's going to get it. Gets the Searing Chains off. Is there anything to cancel Pasha's TP? There isn't, so smart play from the Bloodseeker.
And so far the Earthshaker has not felt effective to me. Got killed behind the tower. He's 2-2 and 4, so he's doing okay, but it definitely feels like it's hard for him to initiate, and when he gets gone on, he can't defend himself super easily either. It's like he's high HP, I guess, but it's still very nuanced. He needs to jump into grouped enemies and do some chain stuns, and it's going to matter at various stages, but for now it doesn't feel the best.
Well, I think VP have done an okay job just not fighting the Enchantress, but the problem is Enchantress is now coming to them, and that's where Newbee is starting to see this game swing their way. Their most farmed hero is starting to have an impact, and as much as VP can ignore Enchantress during the laning stage and just send Bloodseeker there while playing aggressive in middle and bottom, they can't continue to do that when KP is running at them.
Sorry, his Blade Mail, which I think is the right move, but they just aren't going to have a solution for Enchant for a long time. That's to kill him, but he's going to TP out to a different lane. Good call. Lead PL in the area. I mean, he's still such a hard kill. He's got the magic resistance talent. He's got the Glimmer Cape. How do they kill Enchantress?
They'd have to kill him before he gets the Glimmer Cape off, like with an instant Blink Echo. Yeah, like they could chain stun him and burst him down. Oh, Terrorize is going to get some additional stun here. If they got the damage with the Echo Slam, they will. No one had to commit it, but at the Arcane Rune, so
not as bad, but great catch though. He goes for the blink into Enchant Totem, I believe, gets the stun follow-up, and then any stun that's followed up by Terrorize, that's a dead hero. Especially when you have mobility advantage like this, so really nice grab.
Can they defend this mid-tier 1? Doesn't look like that's going to be the case as Newbee play the side lanes. Waiting on the PL Diffusal Blade perhaps before they take their next big engagement. They're probably just going to hope that KP and some of the others can do a bit on their own, and Kaka also close to Blink, so there's big items coming Newbee's way soon, whereas VP, a bit more ready to fight. They've already got that Blink on Shaker, they've got the Blade Mail on Bloodseeker, they're not really in farming mode right now.
Ooh, are they going to get the swap off? No, the vision's gone. Very close.
Kaka just TP'd into 2 enemy heroes at the shrine. They were there already waiting for him.
That was his escape top problem. He got wave of teared by the Venge, he juked into trees to TP, he barely made it out, and that is why he TP'd to a bad location.
Yeah, he wasn't thinking about where he's TPing, he's just like, I gotta TP out.
Yes, and he was trying to be efficient doing it by not going back to Fountain. And in that place, if Kaka was a worse player, he would have lived.
Yeah. Same time, you know, do you really want to waste a solo shrine for a support? He's close to Blink, so I guess he's thinking like, I don't want to go back to base and waste time. I could be farming Blink.
Exactly.
So
it wasn't about the
efficiency.
He was full heal. It was no problem. Just wanted to escape as fast as possible while still getting something done on the map.
Yep. Well, TP's to his death, and that's going to delay his Blink Dagger, but already looking at a pretty good time considering he's a support, even if it's the 4 position line.
He's level 10. He's even got a wand, so he's not being that greedy. He's just getting a lot done. Faith has been sacrificing himself in a lot of ways, being the hero dying for these counter pushes, but also maxing out his aura as fast as possible, just so that there's less clarities being purchased on his cores, and that no matter what happens, they're pretty much just covered.
PL at top going to go in looking for the Venge kill, and without a TP, Solo is actually just dead here.
Wow. That's
it's getting a bit greedy, farming a lane, but hey, it's a 5 position Venge. Not the end of the world.
That was a lot of gold though, 372 from Solo dying with against a team that's beating you, so definitely a good pickup. First Diffusal Blade shown in
smoke was, I don't think that was spotted by this ward. It doesn't actually give vision where they smoked.
They spotted no one as well. He ran past the sentry ward, so if they've got detection, which they don't on Kaka.
They have a sentry on the Crystal Maiden who's TPing in. No one's still under the sentry ward, so they get the root on him and they should be able to burst him down here. The Impale follow-up. No,
he walked out of it. There it is, they see him now.
Okay, walks into it. He walked out of it and back in, and they're just going to blow everything, making sure they get the kill. It's a big one at that, but bottom lane, Moogie gets caught and brought down. Terrorized used with the Rupture. Great synergy between these two spells. It's a combo we've seen a few times. Bloodseeker with the Willow and PL Dunzo.
That was kind of crazy on the no one death. That they got him with the root, but he was just barely out of the sentry ward. I would have thought that it would have still been in the sentry detection.
Yeah, because how do you root him if he's actually, he should theoretically goes invis, but maybe there's like a ever so slight fade time or something.
Yeah, it must have been something like that. So either way, they get the kill on no one. It was with the Finger of Death, and that means he's going to get a Blink Dagger afterwards. So he's ready to go in terms of initiation. Should be able to help out these ganks a little bit easier.
Shaker going to just TP to the mid lane to push it out, while the rest of the team believe they're going Roshan here. They've got a lot of minus armor with the Wave and the Beetles. Nothing to scout that out. If you have wards around there, maybe you spot the Wave or the Beetles being summoned, but not the case. And Scan from the Dire sees where Newbee have rotated, so Roger knows this is coming, and they also know Roach is safe.
So look at the timing that VP did here. I mean, after watching so many games, it's obvious. Like every single time that bounties are coming out, a team gets organized and does something. But the way VP did it was, they've got damage, they can do this. They get to the Roche pit about a minute before the bounty, knowing that by the time their opponents grab bounty runes, the Roche is almost dead, and there's almost no way they can test it. So it's like they timed it a little early. That way, while the enemy team does a rotation for bounties, they waste their smoke. Yes, they get some bounty runes, but Aegis is far better. That was really cool timing for VP there.
That's actually, yeah, really clever. They're kind of, it's like playing one step ahead. It's like, you know, the meta right now is you smoke and fight at bounty runes. So you say, well, let's not do that. What actually is better than that? Taking a Roshan. We'll give up a couple bounty runes if we get a Rosh out of it. And sure enough, they find themselves with an Aegis on Ramses Weaver now, and he's a happy camper.
That's a guy that's definitely vulnerable, and he's going to go poke on Moogie a little bit, see if he can do some damage. But there's a lot of illusions here. Doesn't have that much mana either. This is a little dangerous.
Yeah, there's a Blink Dagger on Lion coming in from the north.
I mean, if they frostbite him there and he gets mana burned instantly, the Aegis is gone. He's unlikely to have enough for Sakuchi, but he gets out just in time.
Okay. Safe for now. Well, are they going to look to delete this Aegis around mid? Looks like Kaka just going to blink his way down into the jungle as they swing towards bottom lane. This Willow's just been the hero to play in this off lane, keep this lane pushed out, and not really a very appetizing kill to go for. You kind of just think, oh, do we really want to go and commit spells to kill a Willow?
And sometimes it doesn't even work out if she gets the Shadow Realm off at the right time, or knows what disables you do have and plays around it, can be fine. The reason Ramses did do so fine in the mid lane is because this Observer was placed kind of between the tier 1, tier 2. The sentry they dropped didn't actually spot it, but they'll get this one top at least. So better vision kind of for VP in the places they're playing, but Newbee definitely has a later timing window. I think they're happier to make this game go late, so if they can keep getting these wards and trading evenly, even though they're behind 3k, I think they should be alright going to late game.
Yep. Things are definitely headed that direction here. We'll see how they do with these BKBs that are coming up soon as well. Bloodseeker and Weaver both almost completing this. Down bottom, Kaka gets silenced up, and he is in all kinds of trouble as he will get picked up on the retreat. Newbee not looking to take a fight around there. They're just looking to slow things down, and I think for Newbee themselves, they also kind of looking late game here. They've got the Boots Travel Ember. He's someone that's just going to keep on scaling, and all three of their cores theoretically are going to keep looking better and better as they get a few more items.
But they do still have to worry about a lot of things like the Earthshaker. Like, that was one of the reasons they picked it last. They needed somebody that could kill an Ember Spirit if he split pushes, and they don't have very good solutions outside of like a Terrorize. But now with the Earthshaker, they can just do Blink Echoes or Fissures into Blink Enchant Totems, start the chain stun, and guarantee those Ember kills that we saw earlier.
Yep.
A lot of the wards on Newbee's side as well, very about kind of controlling the bot lane, but not so much about taking the tier 1 tower. So losing that hero just there definitely made things harder. And now they're all mid, hitting buildings.
VP want this tier 2 tower. Ramses with an Aegis kind of just frontline here. Blink in, Impale Finger on Solo. That's not going to do anywhere near enough damage. With the Terrorize back at mid, KP in trouble. Enchantress goes down. Couldn't effectively use any of his items. Didn't glimmer drums or anything. Ember also dies in the mix. Ramses with both those kills and Pasha even finishing off Faith at the end.
Jeez.
Very nicely done by VP, who suddenly have a 6k gold lead and are going to poke onto the high ground here, force a buyback from the Enchantress, and
they need Ember to slow this down, but he's dead for 20 seconds here.
PL can't really fight here. It's the Ember buyback that was maybe the one they needed. Ramsey's able to keep pressing forward. Not an easy thing to do to push high ground though, so they are going to end up backing off.
I mean, that's the first death for Enchantress. He's forced to buy back in this moment. That's not where he wanted to be. But the team fight was so perfect from VP. It's very reminiscent of how they killed the Ember earlier. They just blink echoed to stun the backline. They ended up getting the Enchantress, and then they did a terrorize follow-up. You'll see it here just in a second as they push forward.
Yep, here's the recap of that fight. Initially just hitting the tower, but...
And then here they go. They got a little grouped in this moment. It looks like they had some kind of vision, or at least the enchant talk.
The blink echo catches that one, and the terrorize was what won them the fight, really.
Got the Ember as well, which is perfect.
Yep. You have these heroes that have these great escapes and can be so annoying and mobile, like the Ember with the Remnants, the Enchantress with just her heal, and the Glimmer Cape, and they don't get to use any of it.
Yeah.
A well-used terrorize can just be one of the best disables in the game. That's definitely what separates, you know, the good Willows from the great ones. We'll see Solo get picked off there.
It's absolutely true. He really wants to abuse all these bottle charges. He's got to wait
back
for that.
Back at top bounty rune, it's going to be PL. In some trouble here. Doppelganger, but still has the beetle and needs to kill it off. Does have the illusions to do so quickly. Mugi going to turn and fight. Wants to go on Pasha. He's BKB'd up. Mugi just holding his grounds here. Still fairly healthy as he does, once again, look for another Doppelganger away. Lion's already gone down here. He's being chased a little bit further. No one. He's got a Yule Scepter here. Can he find a way to get onto Mugi? Another Doppelganger in a couple of seconds. Gets to the low ground. Does he go for the TP? Doesn't think he can do it. No fissure available. Mugi's juking with the illusion, but he just kills the real one. Oh, they were not fooled. Mugi
finally died. Ramses was chasing him that whole fight. And I was thinking like, oh man, Faith is going to make this crazy play and buy time for his team to do something good, but it was just PL running for his life and eventually dying. The tempo is just continuing from Virtus Pro here. They're getting a little kills on the enemy side of the map, and then they're just instantly hitting buildings. And it's kind of dangerous to do this because it's early, and those respawns are very low, but it's going to add up, and if they get a really big teamfight win, then it's going to be a really early Rax.
Yep. Even just some poke and prod forced Newbee to come back to defend. Last time it forced a buyback, so you never know what Newbee may panic themselves into doing in those situations. This time around, VP just fall back, take some ungathered bounty runes, and we'll wait for their next layer of items to be completed.
Solo's been doing a great job pushing lanes this game. Normally doesn't focus on it, but his other heroes are pretty important, so just with Wave of Terror and Vengeance Aura and this drum pickup that he's got, he's just getting more farm than usual, which is kind of nice for him. 10k gold advantage for VP right now. It's kind of starting to get a little out of hand.
Which has meant that SCCC, you know, it's a lot of money to invest in an item that just moves you around the map and doesn't actually allow you to fight all that well.
And so much of that one fight, it just came down to terrorize, like you said. It's the difference. It's a separator for Dark Willow players that makes it really good. One stun into terrorize is a one fight. The 4-second stun essentially makes chain stunning easy. The fight just feels over.
Yep. Compare that to, I mean, Kaka, his impact as a ganker has been fantastic at certain stages of the game, but come those team fights, his presence is just so much more limited. He goes in with an Impale Finger combo and can't even kill off one hero. Blink. Echo. Yep, there we go. BKB comes up just in time from Pasha.
Great terrorize once again. Kaka goes down and Mugi's back in. Solo gets cleaned up. CM, there just isn't as much threat. They're going to try to get this tier 1 tower. This would be huge for them here. The glyph comes out. They got 15 seconds until all 3 heroes are up. They can take the tower right now. They don't have to deal with it later. This is their opportunity.
Yeah, they
a lot of bugs to kill though.
Gonna have to deal with VP's fast respawn times themselves though. We're still fairly early on in this game, and VP ready to go once again.
No one's got a Shadow Blade. They catch him though. The sentry's there.
Yep. BKB being used. Ramsey's very early on that one. Got a bit antsy, perhaps worried about Lion blinking in and disabling him because he doesn't have his Lincoln Sphere just yet. So
no Finger of Death, but yeah, it's got to be scary, especially when SCC gets you from the low ground like that. And he also used Searing Chains on the Earthshaker as well, so you not only do you know you're in a bad spot, but that guy that should be able to save you also can't go for a blink initiation. So dangerous moment, and you know, Newbee getting a little ground in this push. They don't take the tower though. And ultimately, that's what's important, especially when Ember Spirit's able to split push like this. If all the outer towers are dead, it's harder for VP to rotate around and set up to defend those as easily.
So VP may maintain most of their lead, as it's still about an 8,000 gold lead. And as for Newbee, happy to fall back a little bit and continue to get their next level of items. KP going for the Aeon Disc, which is also going to be accompanied by an Aeon Disc on SCCC, it looks like. And this is how you counter an Earthshaker, and perhaps one of the reasons this hero became less popular, because those Blink Echoes to stop split push don't work.
It's not a reliable stun. You get a follow-up immediately afterwards, but against something like an Ember, where a tiny fraction of a second means he's jumping all the way back to base, it's not enough.
There's always a window to use your Fire Remnant as an Ember.
Pasha blinking forward, looks like they want to fight. VP is more grouped here.
KP just running through the Rupture with the Aeon Disc, and
that was really useful, actually. 2 whole seconds of gap escape here, and now he's running for his life.
There's a sentry there to scout him through the Glimmer, but Mugi now, perhaps the new target, but he also gets out of there. So just losing a Crystal Maiden, despite what looked like a pretty decent VP engagement. That Blink Rupture onto KP was definitely the right idea to me, but Newbee have the answers with their items.
Yeah, the Aeon Disc was really helpful there. So, a lot of sitting mid this game, actually. Kind of feels like a... I don't know if you see this, it happens a lot at low MMR games, where it's like, well, I can see him across the river, so I should probably stand here, and then initiations are kind of hard, a lot of sitting around, but VP's going to be able to use this little pressure they got and the kill to take a Roche.
Yep. Seen their lineup already. It really shines as far as being able to kill Roshan quickly and easily. Mostly Newbee playing in the side lanes. We've seen Mugi do some split push here and there, same for the Ember. But VP seem most content to just keep on running down mid and trying to find some fights, find some kills, and take advantage of this decent-sized advantage of theirs.
I feel like another reason that that VP, at least solo, has been pushing lane so much is because if you look at the Newbee side, they actually have a really bad lane push. It's basically Ember Spear, amazing, but past that, Enchantress is awful at pushing lanes. Definitely one of her biggest weaknesses. Lion is not so good. CM can be good, but he's been prioritizing all these Frostbite levels so that he could have a good solution against the Weaver. So it's like nobody really pushes the lanes that well. So all it takes is a little Vengeful Spear, normally bad herself, and it just makes all this lane pressure, and all the towers are just always alive.
We've seen Newbee really struggle to bring those down, but right now they've got bigger issues, which is VP running them in their base. They get the high ground ward for the push. They smoked in for this one, but didn't find any big kills. Perhaps bottom lane, though, is where they'll find SCCC, but with the Aeon Disc, I'm just not sure how they can get. They need to proc the Aeon Disc, but he already is fire running out of there.
It'd have to be Earthshaker into some other follow-up. I think the only way to make that work is everybody throws their stuns at the same time, and one of them is going to proc the Aeon Disc and then
hope that he gets instantly stunned right after.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only way, other than something like Static Storm or some other ability that isn't.
What about Terrorize? Is that? I don't think that's dispellable. I don't actually know. Is Terrorize dispellable? It doesn't say on the. It doesn't say on the spell.
I assume it is. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a strong dispel that pretty much removes everything for the most part.
Bad dude's top tower gonna fall over soon.
Fear's a very good disable, but it's not like one of those ultra powerful ones. Just utility-wise, or its use is great. And then you go Mjolnir on Weaver as their PL partial solution.
Yep.
I think it's fine. Maybe not great against Ember, but
it's perhaps it's something at least. Yeah, they get the sun in the Shadow Realm. He's going for a Terrorized Doppelganger is there. Make sure he doesn't get caught by it, and Mugi will finish off the kill, but here comes Ramses wanting that Kaka line. He's not got anything defensive to help him out there. No Ghost Scepters, Force Staffs, Glimmer Caves, whatever it may be. He needs something at some point against this Weaver, but only able to farm up a Blink so far. Rupture going to catch KP once again, just runs on out with the Aeon Disc. He just keeps on running. Glimmer Cave, no TP. They have a vague idea of where he is though, and KP swapped out. Rupture actually wore off, so he didn't take damage from the swap, but they'll still get the kill.
Yeah, BKB on Bloodseeker means he doesn't have to worry about Untouchable, and with the Weaver having the Mjolnir and all this general agility items, he actually attacks pretty fast now, and KP doesn't have the same invulnerability like before. Maybe if he has like a Force Staff or something to get more distance out of the Aeon Disc survivability, but yeah, it's actually working out against him if his team isn't there to back him up. With Lion Dead, just way too scared to initiate.
VP. They just, once again, and are looking to poke and prod at the Newbee high ground. Newbee have been a very resilient team when it comes to defending, and definitely a team known for their great 5-man plays and just taking these games by defending their high ground.
Ramsey making a little mistake. They're attacking low ground to high ground, and they get a D ward because of it.
Okay.
I'm sure that's one of those moments where you rage as a support.
Yeah, it's like you
really need to attack them that extra time.
It's not that easy to get those high ground wards down. You have to do it either during nighttime or while smoked.
Yep, that's exactly what he did.
They're so precious, so...
And we're doing a little split push here. It's going to spot out Solo. They've got a bounty rune in a couple seconds here.
Gets stunned up.
He will get it.
Yeah, so. Triple C gets it and gets out of there. Still has the Aeon Disc, so wasn't really in any risk of losing his life there.
2 and 2. I do like what Solo's doing item-wise. He finished the drum earlier. He's got pipe now. Now he's queuing up Vlad's, just trying to make his whole team better at pushing and staying alive in some of these engagements. And considering the damage output of Newbee and the fact that they've had to spend so much on Aeon Discs, they actually are having some big damage problems.
Here comes the solution to these Aeon Discs. At least with the Ember Spirit, it's going to be a Hex. So, Undispellable Hex, Bloodseeker, if you manage to blink Hex the Ember, he will not be able to fire run it out when it procs.
In trouble here. He doesn't actually have a TP.
Oh my.
And
he's got caught by the beetle too, so they know which one's real. Impale will land. The Terrorize follows it up. The Root Moogie. Oh no.
Might get a Dispel.
Okay. Yules doesn't hit the Cursed Crown. He actually messes up. I think the Cursed Crown, he wanted to try and make sure it lands, but instead the Yules threw him up in the air, and Mookie's still alive, has the heart for a lot of extra health here. They chase down, bring down the Enchantress here. Another Yule Scepter coming out. They really want Moogie's PL. They caught him with the Totem as he landed, and they kill him without buyback. Oh my, that is bad news. And the Weaver kill is not going to matter too much for VP because they've got an Aegis on him. He's going to be respawning momentarily, and they could look to continue the push off of this.
Kaka is just playing next level right now. He's so fast at his mana drain Hex to save himself and at least burn the Aegis, and just barely dodging that fissure as well. He's doing a good job, but it's hard to play line in games like this, where the team fight is just better on the enemy team, and they're also just so mobile. They've got so many items that they need to deal with the enemy team too, and because they've had this advantage, it's just been Newbee on the back foot for so long.
Well, we're going to continue to be the high ground defenders, it seems. Triple C about to have has the money for the Mjolnir now if he wants to buy it, but does have to worry about the lack of buyback if he chooses to do so.
That's really scary because there's been so many knife edge team fights and high ground pushes that losing that would almost surely solidify the advantage that VP has. But I mean, also may happen in other ways, like Roshan being lost or him not split pushing fast enough, and Mjolnir would make a difference there, for example. And he's going to start moving out. He's got the Blink Dagger at least, so he can defend himself, but these other lanes, it just takes like 3 heroes to get this slightly pushed.
See the Enchantress using the ult to even try and push a little bit faster. No one trying to see what he can do, but he's going to pop out of the Shadow Blade, has a BKB now. Solo looking for that swap initiation.
Or just to be initiated on. He knows he's the tanky guy. He's actually the pusher now. He's a tower hitter. He went agility.
Does decent damage, yeah.
I mean, if he gets initiated on, he's got 24 armor. He can pop a pipe, use a wand, throws stuns.
Yep.
Good way to play the hero this
Probably telling his Willow, stop buying some wards. I'm hitting stuff. This is a great game for me. And
queuing up a Helmet Dominator next. It's a lot cheaper than buying
orbs. Here we go. To the high ground, VP look to go. Just poking and prodding for now, waiting for an opening perhaps as Newbee once again get forced to come back and defend. Dire scan just over the trees on the left, trying to see what they can find.
They're going to lose this Observer ward, probably, or they get Sentry de-warded. Okay, they do get it.
Yep. PL, I think, getting the last hit for that one, and Pasha with the Hex completed. We'll see what he can do or find off of this. Newbee vision right on top of them on the hill, though. That has not been de-warded. Sancheng warding guide paying off.
It basically seems like they ran out of sentries. This is certainly one of the things that happens when a player like Solo does spend this much money on actual items, that you're going to go to a push like this, you're going to run out of sentries, and all of a sudden you lose advantage. If they had a sentry, they de-ward that sent first before their ward dies, and then they can de-ward the cliff ward too, because they know that their opponents have vision to find that ward in the first place. But instead now they have to back up and go hit creeps for a moment as they regain map control. So a bit of a moderate mistake there. But, you know, once in a while, Solo wants some items. I don't blame him.
You know, forget wards. I've got a headdress now. I'm good, he says.
That will change the game.
Dire Vision still has... I mean, throughout the game, VP have had good vision. These lane wards, they're very aggressive with the way they play the game. And the wards have definitely supported it, but we'll see how they handle this next push. Once again, they are pressing forward. They don't even seem to care they don't have an Aegis. In fact, they've got a DD rune on Weaver. He sneaks his nose into the bottom lane, and nothing here to defend this. Maybe, let's say, you probably just want to glyph this, because He was just going to keep on right-clicking if you weren't careful there, and he also might just go right back in.
I don't know if that top ward spotted him or not, but that was just the perfect time for VP to do this maneuver.
Yep, BKB, he's just going to go straight for the tower. Actually finds a new target in the Lion, but with the Ghost Scepter, he can't finish off the kill. Tier 3 claim, they get the stuns coming out. Lion gets two-shotted by a fissure into Totem, and Weaver forced to be swapped away. He doesn't have a BKB, and it was a smart call by Solo that Weaver, if he got Initiate on there and bursted, it would have been a big loss for VP.
They're doing such a good job just spending as many resources are needed. Pop the BKB, take the tower, go for the easy Lion kill. That buys them another like 45 seconds out on the map. They're just...
It also buys them another DD rune. Hit that 40-minute mark where we start getting double runes, and Ramsey's just going to get an Arcane and probably bottle the DD up top. Potentially could use it for Roshan, which is respawning in 10 seconds time.
That's a really early one if I'm not mistaken. Bugs are going to catch Faith actually. Oh, they know where
he's like, I'm going to deny this DD.
He's got to be careful here.
Yeah, Pash actually had to pick it up just to stop because he knew it was going to get denied in a second. Faith goes in with the Glimmer Cape, will be kept alive as I believe Newbee actually scouted that Roshan respawn with that Shard Golem. Ramses himself will scout it out as well.
And they just kill this thing so fast with Blood Rage and all the minus armor they have. So Newbee has to get on the map, get a kill somewhere. They pop a smoke sitting behind Mugi, trying to wrap a bit, keep the high ground advantage, but you know, VP's also going to know about this.
Well, Solo says, forget buying wards, I'll just buy a gem for my team. That's, you know, easier. Gives it to the Weaver, as Radiant do scan VP farming this Ancient Cap. It's just the Venge, though. I don't actually know.
He's a 5.
It's a big win for them.
Very strong 5.
Yep, 11k net worth.
I mean, they might as well buff him up, you know? It's to make the high ground easier. That's the issue with a hero like Earthshaker as a core, is that he's not going to be able to have this team fight longevity thing. He's like he jumps in, casts spells, jumps out, jumps back in, casts spells. He's not going to be able to hit buildings. They need something else to make this overall push go farther than just popping BKBs on a Weaver and a Bloodseeker. And they're playing around it so well.
Yep. Well, to the Roche Pit, VP go, but Newbee already nearby. Can they contest this one? Dire Vision not great around the pit, so they may be a little bit hesitant to commit to Roshan, given that they don't see all too much.
They're going to be able to push out the top lane with a single Manta Illusion from the PL, though. That's a lot of gold for him. He's 4,500 in the bank, thinking about going Basher, thinking about getting an Abyssal Blade. Could be a great way to secure some crucial Weaver kills or other lot of gold for him.
VP, just like playing in hard mode, no one wants to buy wards.
Thinking about going Basher, thinking about getting an Abyssal Blade. Actually, could be a great way to secure.
Is this real?
Yeah, no one's buying ults, no one's buying sentries. I'm just, you know, it's like they want to challenge themselves in some ways here.
Well, they get the fissure block down. Kaka is in the middle of nowhere, very dead hero.
He's in trouble.
It's a sacrifice.
Yep. Newbee are going to cut their losses and back out and say, that is not a Roche we can take.
It's so hard to fight into that, though. They put Bramble Maze at the opening of the Roche, or the ramp going down to the Roche pit, and now they're just going to go high ground. So, once again, sentries or not, they're being outmaneuvered.
Right, Solo, who buys those 3 wards in stock that he has coming out on the courier, so finally said, okay, let's get some wards for the team. As you can see there, the win probability, 80% for VP, is starting to feel
in trouble.
A lot higher than 80%. The swap into the Hex, the Aeon Disc comes out. They couldn't proc it fast enough, so by the time they procced it, the Hex had actually worn off, so not quite the initiation they were hoping for. Ramsey on the front lines has an Aegis, taking quite a bit of damage from the Enchantress, and this is the VP woes. Pushing high ground is just so damn difficult.
They've got quite a few heals, but that was their last Spirit Vessel, actually, so no more heals after this. Ramsey's going to get really low, actually, down to 300 health. And maybe regretting he didn't buy a heart instead of a Scotty, but...
Give him the Blood Rage, shield across the creeps.
Or you can't heal from illusions either, so...
Yeah. For the creep wave, though, he could.
Well, they do get the talent for Vengeful Spirit, at least, so they're pumping out 60% damage amplification. Or 60% extra damage for everybody.
Good heads up play, though. They do give it to him and let him clear the creep wave. They've got him back 1,500 health almost. Does get Hex on the high ground here. Should still be okay. Terrorize, gonna catch a couple, and this is just being used to hit the melee racks here.
No glyph.
Not the longest of cooldowns, 60 seconds without the Terrorize, though, and they feel like they just need to prioritize buildings and...
Okay.
Focus down, brought back. Weaver needs to be careful, but no time left. Does it? BKB has to pop it immediately. Does do so. Is he going to finish the racks, or is he going to go for the heroes? Takes the melee racks. Forward goes the Earthshaker. Refreshes as well. Use one Echo Slime. Has a second if he needs it. PL is there, but the problem is his PL is going to push him back, and Earthshaker getting very low in the process. Solo doing what he can, but he's going to go down, as well as Roger. The chase is on. Emberport back. He goes straight into a Hex. He doesn't have the Aeon. As Triple C. Oh no, what are you thinking? And right on cue, Roger's there. Gives them the whatever it is, the luck.
That's the moment they've been waiting for all game. Yes. Is finally a big team fight win. They got more out of their opponents than their opponents got out of them. I mean, it's a barracks, it's a melee barracks, but they killed Ramses very easily twice in a row. They got 2 pickoffs. They felt like they could chase and catch more. And if he does get those disables, that's the crucial moment. But he gets disabled, didn't have his Aeon disc, and that was his dieback.
Ramses is running in mid.
Oh, that was so close. That was Basher right there. He's thinking, oh, no line, easy, right? Nope, Basher's here, man.
Bash. Ooh, jeez.
That was so
very,
close.
very, very close.
It might have been on cooldown for the follow-up, so there's probably no way they get that kill outside of a little bit more damage, but he's going to know about that Basher now. Definitely something to worry about.
Just the bottom racks. We'll take another look at that fight here. A chaotic one. The Weaver loses his first life pretty quickly with time lapse on cooldown, but has the BKB. And then it's Shaker who goes charging forward. BKB runs in, Echo Slammer for the Lion. It was definitely not the perfect, beautiful execution that you sometimes come to expect from VP, but it got the job done. It got a melee racks, and they had to feed away their supports to get out of there, which kind of speaks to the fact they did not play that push that well. But part of it that is because it's so hard to push high ground against this lineup.
It felt like such a good moment to chase, but Pasha's Hex was ready and they were able to get the kill. But VP just feels like they always know who to target for, what are the problem heroes, and it's always going for Lion. Like multiple fights in a row, no one is aiming for that guy because he knows that if Lion's dead, then Weaver has a much easier time, as we saw in the previous fight. So it's popping BKBs to offset that one support hero, but once that guy's dead and his BKB runs out, he needs to leave the lane anyway, so he always has to walk out afterwards. Definitely seeing the limitations of Earthshaker a bit, but he has done his job.
Yep. He's going to have a Linken's next, so this is maybe something additional to even pop on the Weaver. It doesn't even necessarily have to be for himself.
Weaver, by the way, picking up a new item. Just a simple green sword for the evasion. But it's the right move. It's going to give him evasion against the Basher, up against those hits, so less likely he gets hit there. And as a whole, a lot of right-click on the enemy team, including Enchantress, so this is a really value Butterfly.
Yeah. It's a great pickup. He's got a DD rune that's going to pop and swap in the Butterfly. This top lane is going to melt pretty quickly, I feel. Does just go for the BKB. I think they're just sick of Newbee defending high ground, so they're going to commit things like the BKB just to hit buildings. Unfortunately, there's a glyph for him, so he's not going to quite get the damage he wanted on it, but okay, some seed creeps will help out.
Catapult's good, killing buildings, but even so far, the Butterfly has shown huge difference in increasing their survivability. SEC also didn't go for True Strike, picked up Spell Amp, the right thing to do at the time, but now might be a little bit worried about it. But they can't quite blow up Weaver anymore, and with all the auras on Venge, if he just sits behind the Weaver, Weaver's going to get healed rapidly, he can swap him out if he's in danger, and his window for staying alive is so much higher. I think it's looking really good for VP. It's a 29k gold advantage. The game is still close though. If Newbee wins a big team fight, they could absolutely get back in this game.
And I think VP recognizing that's partly why their approach is to let's just chip at these buildings. Weaver go in, BKB hit. Oh, okay. Not able to...
Oh, it was Aeon Disc. Yep.
Get quite what they wanted to do to kill him.
Out of there very fast. Fissure was a moment away, but gets out in time.
Yeah, so maybe. I mean, theoretically, what you want to do is just blink echo him as you like hex him and then instantly blink echo, so you pop the Aeon Disc and then you stun him again before he can fire in it because he's still hex. So I think if they execute that gank, they definitely can kill S-Triple-C.
Absolutely. Got to do the damage a little faster. Maybe if you had Enchant ready or something.
Yeah, or yeah, you get a big totem instantly, but...
It's a nice pickup by KP there in the mid lane. They kind of got initiated on, but it wasn't a full committal, and he just threw a couple hits at the Venge. Venge's armor is really high, he's got tons of regen, but pure damage is still going to cut through him rapidly, and they were able to get the kill. Finally some ground for Newbee is what it feels like. It doesn't happen often, but it happened there. Did you see Pasha's item? It's got an Octarine core. It's very bizarre.
Well, once that lower cooldown hex.
Yeah, it's 16.5 seconds, 52 on his Black King bar. Maybe he goes Ags or something.
With Bloodright cooldown, it's going to have an insanely low cooldown.
That's a good point. 4.5 out of 6 seconds.
That's something.
What happens when you get silenced twice? Count as a stun or something like that?
Shit, the double silence.
That's a terrible joke. Most people are maybe not going to get that. it's still good. Clears creep waves. 315 pure damage that he can amplify by 40%. So very good way to do damage. Very weird way to play Bloodseeker, but in reality, was he going to be able to go up against a PL and try to outcarry him? No. So instead he's playing this like utility role, and it could work really well. Yeah,
the Radiance Mion or whatever is okay, but also the other thing is that it's not just the PL who's a problem. It feels like the Ember, catching the Ember is maybe a bigger problem. It's very much, you know, recognizing which heroes are, you know, at least somewhat under control, and then find the one and address the ones that aren't.
Newbee might get caught here. They are moving across the map. They've got Warden build spot. They got Vision. Great stun from Kaka though.
Catches both supports, and immediately the Impetus should finish off the bench here. The Terrorize comes out, Lion goes down here, but the rest of the Newbee side in OK shape until the Echo Slam comes out on the PL. The PL will get completely destroyed by this as buyback, but doesn't want to just throw it away immediately as KP will get finished off as well. That's a gem. And Newbee, despite having the high ground there and popping the smoke and being positioned okay, they just don't have the firepower. It looked really good for them, but there's so many BKBs as well. Ember basically does no damage when people have their BKBs active. PL had to kind of wait that one out, but eventually he got spotted and chain stun, and his HP got really lowered. But he needs to play on the edges of these battles, but it's hard. It feels like the PL is just really struggling to have a game against these Echo Slams.
They get him.
So Weaver, will he buy back or something for this? Theoretically, if they see a good opening, they may consider it, but Shaker doesn't have his ultimate, so...
Dark Willow gets out with a long-range blink, and still very good for Newbee. I guess they had some buybacks, right?
They had 2 on Enchantress and PL.
Okay, so that part's certainly very dangerous.
Yeah. And that's why I think VP are happy just to pull back and not buy back the Weaver. He could have theoretically re-engaged, buy back, time-lapse in your full health, and go for it, but that would have been very high risk.
Newbee was kind of praying there that they'd get the instant Roche respawn. If they got a little lucky, this could have been a timing they can exploit, but instead, going to be forced to play safer here.
Yep.
No one's still looking for an easy kill. The Faith could easily get picked up, actually, but they're going to terrorize him.
Catch him with the fissure into Totem. The Fear's still on top of him, and
now
Roche will finish off the kill.
Kind of the other way now, because Roche will be up in about 122, so just a little, about the same time that CM comes up, actually. So Newbee can get these lanes pushed out, and they can get a little control around Roche. They absolutely can contest this, but their track record so far this game is not good. Even pushing out lanes is still a huge uphill battle for Ember Spirit.
And it's something VP have proven to be pretty damn good at with the Blood Ride, and even things like Willow Bedlam. Shaker can just quickly clear waves, so... I mean, very hard for Newbee to contest Roche when they have to keep on addressing the lane equilibrium. They do snipe the DD rune, so taking that away from the Weaver and getting on the PL would have been even better if he did have a Roche to kill with it, but not the end of the world. He's buying a Moonshot. More bashes, I guess. And what, night vision? You know, this is one of those items which has been buffed so much. I'm sure it's going to be like OP at some point soon. Maybe it already is, and just no one's buying it.
I mean, it is kind of a 400 night vision is insane. That's 50% more vision at nighttime, and they're going to find Solo. Actually, this looks pretty bad for him, but his whole team's here.
If he gets the Hurricane Pike, pushes him back. There's going to be the Blink Echo Slam coming out, catches 2 Kaka. Aeon Disproc, so keeps him alive a little bit longer. Just trying to use all his spells before he goes down. Succeeds in doing so. The PL needs to get in there. Does get on top of the bench. Solo getting very low here. There's no more Echo Slam to deal with his Phantom Lancer. Illusions absolutely everywhere. Moogie, luckily his DD's worn off. The No One Vision catches a lot. Now comes out the Hex. They caught the PL. He's hexed up. He's got no escape. He's dead, as is the Enchantress. The buyback from SCCC is nice, but it's too little too late. They've lost their cause, and they do not have buyback. It should be the end for Newbee, unless SCCC can do something miraculous, and I just don't think he has it in the tank.
They're high ground, they're all alive, and so many dead heroes means minimum mid racks, probably bot racks, probably top racks, and
probably GG.
The Ember of today, you have to buy so many defensive items to be effective. Like Aeon Disc was good for the hero, but in the same vein, offensive ganking items are also just better.
Yep.
So it's like you have to just buy all these items that mean that you don't scale damage-wise. You're kind of like a utility guy. And he just never really was able to contribute enough for these team fights.
Well, it was a drawn-out victory for VP, but in some ways looked comfortable at all stages. They never really lost or threw away much of their lead. There was like 1 or 2 times where it got, you know, picked off or killed, like the Weaver when the Basher came out, but it looked convincing.
Yeah, it did, and it just looked like it was way harder for Newbee to get done what they needed to. Like once VP had BKBs on so many of their heroes, yes, they have line disables, but it was BKBs and it was Lincolns and it was just overwhelming map control for the whole game, which just led to them having more items and very difficult to play against. So it's like they just kept covering their bases. It just seemed like a team that was fully in control, knowing exactly what they needed to do every fight.
Waiting to the side.
They can't chain send them though. It's like virtually impossible to BKB. And their sleeps and stuff, it would have to be perfectly placed.
Yeah, like a sleep into arrow, but even that, like it's the lack of the hard initiator. Maybe why, you know, OpTic ban out that faceless void. If you think about a void 100%. Here instead of
Ooh, arcane rune for Necrophos. Doesn't have the scythe, or the Aghanims rather, for his scythe, or that would be just absolutely filthy. However, still a very nice one there. I'll give him the 80-second cooldown.
28 minutes.
They have been up here for a long time.
Yeah, and they just haven't shown on the map. I think OpTic have to know that something is happening, and they're going to walk right into them. Oh, they see it. Oh, he's farming a camp. You can't afford to have Lina be the first one found, and Pycat is there. They jump in the haunt. They get all the vision in the world. Looking for the stomp, but there's going to be the cold embrace, or rather the winter's curse, and they're taking down Lina, going to kill her off. There's the Reaper sight that follows it up. Oh god, OpTic in so much trouble as they have turned it back around onto them now.
No, Spectre just tried to focus the Earthshaker, but it's not
enough. Zai turns it around again. ZZZ, he's going to get caught. He's going to get killed. That's 3 dead.
Yeah.
I thought for a second there that with PYW showing up in a buyback it might have worked, but XCJ, he's dead as well. OpTic dominate.
He tried, like he haunts and he finds the Earthshaker, so he just starts targeting him, but he doesn't have enough damage. Yeah. Like it's just a Manta, so Zai's just walking away from him, and then the rest of the fight they're fighting without Alina, as he said. She got focused down first, so there's no other damage. Xingqiu just doesn't have it either in him.
Stomp comes out to try and hold, but right now you do not want to have to buy back on any of these heroes at all. PPD looking forward. He just wants to get a little bit of vision up there, hit the tower whenever possible. Silencer buys back. 14 seconds still spec.
But slow gains here for OpTic. They'll take the shrines.
Yes.
And then we're looking at the next rush in 1:55.
And they can just take down shrines as well. It's crazy. Every time Serenity lose a fight, they're like, let's go back in at them. And it is going to be Roche, like you said, a little ways away. Long respawn time on that one.
Just 2 heroes farming right next to each other without knowing. Spectre and Necrophos. Actually, they'll see the Necrophos now.
I'll see the Spectre, too. PPD. He has Winter's Curse again. Oh. He's got an Invis rune.
They got hit by the ulti. Oh. So they know not to press forward.
Okay. That would have been a big play if they could have found it.
Yeah, they think there's an observer ward right here on the outside of that sentry ward. They missed it.
They just pinged Peter as well.
Meanwhile, they're just losing towers.
Yeah. Bottom is down. OpTic can set up for another round of shrines if they want. But take it down.
Yeah, feeling good about OpTic's chances, but they need more damage on the Spectre. Maybe after the Diffusal Blade, then the Illusions will be doing enough that it'll be worth it for GG to just focus down the Earthshaker, but right now it's just way too much of their team being pulled away. And you've seen this a couple times now today. The 10 armor, Nature's Prophets, they've been going for it over the 4 Treant summoned. Even when they don't have split pushing items like a Maelstrom or something.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
I mean, I guess it's talking about like relative value, and if it helps you stay alive one time, why not? I guess plus armor against nature or Elder Titan is also really effective. Since you get all of your base just taken out of there. I will say, Spectre, 2 big items. If you get a third, this game starts to look better for Serenity, but that's kind of, again, predicated upon OpTic just doing nothing for the next while. Like, I think if this game just stalls out and Serenity are able to get into that third item for Spec, things might start to look different, but she is just so far behind these other cores.
Lena's had a pretty big talent here too, though, with the Fiery Soul stack one. But they're looking just for this next Roche here, and this will be the Cheese and the Aegis. Probably both for CCNC, honestly. And then we're going to have that 9-second BKB. So massive fight for Serenity, and Peter's going to find him.
Oh my god, the Winter's Curse turnaround, and again it's on to Lena. How many times have they found this hero? The jump forward, though, the Echo Slam to follow it, Yule Scepter, and the BKB far too late. CCC also late. And can they kill these heroes off? I don't think so. They buy back on the Winter Wyvern, they're going to kill off Zinq. It's all over. This is destruction.
Peter Pandam finds them all lurking nearby. Nice little play by the Winter Wyvern, just flying over those trees oh so innocently. And then complete utter destruction.
They give him a little tip on Zai. They leave Rosha at the wayside. They don't need it. Time to hit buildings. Call for tier 4s even.
It was very difficult to hit that Echo Slam, so clearly he deserves all of the tips there. I mean, Peter, what did that guy even do?
I mean, yeah, they couldn't even get the global off in that. It's just time together. They get the stun on top of everything, and tier 4 towers going down. They buy back on the Mirana. They know this is their last chance.